YouTube, what is up? We are back for our second play of the week. We are riding with the Cincinnati Bengals -7 at home, hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I usually don't lay big numbers when betting. Laying -7 is the biggest number we're going to be laying all year, or that we've laid thus far. But here's why I think this number is warranted, and we're actually getting value at only laying -7. The Cincinnati Bengals, despite their record, I believe they're 3-5 or 3-6, whatever it is. It's not important. It's not a good record. They're actually been one of the better offenses in the league this year. They've been really, really good offensively, despite how bad their record is. You know, they lost some close games that they should have won, and it made their record, look way worse than it is. And their biggest liability, of course, has been their defense this year. Their defense has not been good, but their offense has been really, really good, almost as good as any other team in the league this year. So that is what we're banking on here, is that this team is much, much better than the record shows. And I actually think this is one of the more elite teams in the league. That's why I feel like there's value in this, because, the record's saying one thing. But also, guys, the line should show you something. Despite their record, the line is still saying this is a -7. They're not saying, oh, shitty Bengals, shitty Raiders, -3, pick them, whatever. They're still saying the Bengals are good, -7. I think they're even better than that -7 that the line is suggesting. Here's the thing. Their defense, it's been bad. But the Bengals have played a decent amount of really good offenses this year. That's probably making their defense look worse than it is. Because if you are to separate into two different categories, the really good teams the Bengals have played this year and the shitty teams, it's not like the Bengals are getting scored 1,000,000 points on by the shitty teams as well. It's really the elite teams that I think are inflating the numbers against them. You look at their game against Baltimore, I think they lost 41-38 in overtime. The Ravens are going to score no matter who they play. That's kind of the nature of high-powered offenses. So they got a lot of points given up on the Ravens. The Commanders, same thing. The Commanders are really good, though, so that doesn't look as bad in hindsight. Obviously, the Chiefs. We know what the Chiefs are. They're really good. Let's see. They just played the Eagles. The Eagles have been rolling. The Eagles scored 28 the week before at the Giants. The Eagles are getting hot. They have 1,000,000 weapons, and their weapons are finally back. So, their big games have been against really good offenses. You look at the bad teams they played. They played the Giants a few weeks back, or a couple weeks back. I believe they only gave up 7 points. Week 1 they played New England. They gave up 16 points. Not a lot. They played the Cleveland Browns. Gave up 14 points. So they're not giving up a ton of points to bad teams. It's just they've ran into some of these really good offenses that, I don't know, really for the most part, no matter how good your defense is, when the offense is elite, they're just going to get theirs. That's typically how this goes. And I think those elite offenses have made this Bengals defense look a little worse than it actually is. On the other side of the ball, we have the lowly Raiders. The Raiders are horrible. I think if you have to rank worst teams in the league, it's Panthers probably the worst, then the Raiders, but it's really, they're that tier. That bottom tier is Panthers, Raiders, and it would be also it would be Browns with Deshaun Watson playing quarterback. So I love going against the Raiders, man. This team is dead, and Antonio Pierce, he seems like he doesn't know what he's doing as a head coach. He's probably going to be out of there, one and done with him. Gardner Minshew, is this guy even an NFL quarterback? He is so bad. Did you watch that Kansas City game last week? Some of the fumbles, this dude just fumbles for no reason. Doesn't even need to get hit. He sucks. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Definitely should not be a starter. So I love that we are going against him. I don't even think it's close. It's a different universe between him and Joe Burrow. And I just think the Bengals are going to beat the fuck out of the Raiders. I don't even think this is going to be close. Again, it's NFL. You never know what's going to happen. There's 1,000,000 fluky bullshit things that could happen, plus the refs. We'll see how all that plays out. But as far as legit skill goes, these teams aren't even on the same planet. The Raiders are bad offensively. They're horrific defensively. Yes, they have Maxx Crosby, and maybe that makes some people think they're a good defensive team, but there's 11 players on the field. They fucking blow defensively, from head to toe, defensively, offensively, coaching. There's nothing good about this Raiders team. They're horrible. I don't think 7 is enough points. This line should be way higher. I have this line being more like 13 or 14. I think the Bengals, I think it's more likely the Bengals win by a couple touchdowns here than just one. So I will take the value with the -7. Give me the Bengals -7 all day in a blowout fashion. Destroy the Raiders. The Bengals season is on the line, guys. Joe Burrow said it in his presser the other day. They have to win, whatever he said, like 7 out of their next 9 games, something like that. So they know like it's game time, and they're going to mentally be thinking, this is one we have to get. Like, no fucking around. This is the shitty Raiders. Every win matters for us. Let's take care of business at home, beat the fuck out of them, and, go week by week from there. But this is one they have to have. They have to dominate and show up for. And not a spot at all where they can. This is not a Bengals team that's 6-1 and can just take a week off and upset alert against the Raiders. So this is a really good Bengals team that needs a win, kind of like the Jets on Thursday. I don't think the Jets are as good as the Bengals, but the Jets needed that win or their season was dead. The Bengals, similar spot here. We need this win. Bengals -7, 1 unit. A unit's 1% of your bankroll. As always, not financial advice. You never have to bet my plays. And we'll see how we do, boys. All right. Good luck. Let's have a big weekend. Peace.